Hello, everybody, and welcome. Happy Monday. I am so excited to be here with my good friend, Megan Nolan. It is not often that I pop on a Monday. That's usually my integration week, but I'm so excited to get to introduce those of you who have not yet met my friend, Megan. I am She's got something really exciting coming up, and I just was so excited about it. I said, Megan, let's hop on and chat about it. So we're going to be chatting. We're going to chat. We're going to chat about the importance of showing up for ourselves so we can show up vibrantly in our business. And this is something that I am passionate about. And if you've been in my world for a second, I always say a thriving business requires a nourished and happy you. And the Megans of the world are here to give us the tools to make that happen with grace and ease. So Megan, would you introduce yourself and tell everybody, besides being a vitality coach, who you are and what you're up to in the world?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Hello, everybody. Great to be here today. Yes, Sherry makes a beautiful point there, and I 100,000,000% agree. And I know it's kind of shocking, but I believe, and Sherry does too, that in order for you to be truly successful, you do actually get to be healthy and happy too. Yay!
Please be healthy and happy so you can be doing your work in the world.
Yes, exactly. We know that our businesses are a reflection of you. And so your energy is so impactful and so important in everything that you're doing. And so I am super passionate about this as well because, well, let me take you to a time when I was not in that place and I was exactly in the opposite. And there I was, flat out, burnt out, completely depleted and drained and anxious and sad and doubting myself and in that spiral of confusion and wonder of, oh, is it ever going to work? Am I ever going to be able to quote unquote make it? And had pushed myself to the point of being completely burnt out and being resentful of my business and not sure if I could do it or if I wanted to keep doing it. And so in all of that mess, recognized that it clearly wasn't working. And I had become what I now call the worn out entrepreneur in that frantic, frazzled, go, go, go state of, I keep pouring even though the cup is empty and cracked and broken and, just kept giving and recognized that it wasn't working. And so decided to take a step back and really begin to lean into the tools that I have. So I'm a personal trainer, I teach yoga, I'm a mental fitness coach, and irony of all ironies is at that point, because I was so depleted, I just literally wasn't using any of those tools. And I was completely out of integrity with all of that because, hello, I was so drained and depleted. And so really for me, it became a decision to prioritize myself. And so that I could show up the way that I wanted to for my community and for my business and create the impact that my heart feels called to make. And so that was really the beginning of all of this. And that is actually, spoiler alert, a lot of what is waiting for you inside the book. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
And your journey is so common. It's entrepreneurs have the highest rate of burnout of any profession there is. And it's a challenge. It's challenging. And it is, and I talk about this a lot in my world. The industrial model of like, go, 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 do, that you were talking about is so ingrained in us when really like that's a fairly new model. 400 or so years before that, all of our ancestors worked in cycles. We knew we were supposed to rest and replenish and work and rest and follow this ebb and flow. And so, I think there's an unlearning, right, that has to happen of those habits, that the things that we learned. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate to your story. I can as well. Mine was pre-entrepreneurship, but I still find myself with bouts of it on occasion and needing to drop back into my tools. So, and yes, and spoiler alert, yes, as she said, we're here to celebrate. I wish I could throw confetti because Megan's got a book coming out next week. So exciting. She is going to be a published author of an amazing book that I got a little sneak peek about into. Amazing. It is so fun, so well written, so practical. I'm all about practical and tactical. Like, I think that's why you and I get along so well, right? We're like, we can do the woo, we can do all that, but
Yeah, yeah.
let's make sure we can implement these things, right? Let's make
Mhm.
it practical. And I loved, and we'll get into what the book's about in a second, but your humor and your sharing of who you are and all of that, the energy of it is fantastic. And I think every entrepreneur should read this because
Oh,
it's going to really be needed coming up here in a second, and or was always needed. But I've been talking about this astrological shift that's coming up, and I was telling Megan as we hopped on to connect that her book and her tools are really well aligned with this upcoming energies and things that entrepreneurs are going to need more than ever. The energies are going to be faster paced and quicker moving, and it's going to, for some people, going to really wear them out and burn them out, literally. So having these tools in their back pocket is going to be huge to navigate the next 18 months. I mean, I think they're practical at any time, but I'm really appreciating the timeliness of when this book is coming out and what it's going to be able to do to support entrepreneurs. And if you're not sure what what I'm talking about, I have a workshop coming up on Thursday. I'll drop that link in the chat, but I don't want to focus on that today. I want to focus on Megan, but this upcoming transit is really, really important for entrepreneurs to know about. And so that's my passion at the moment, getting that word out and the word about Megan's book. So let's talk about this book. I'm actually going to put the title up on the screen because it's so good.
oh,
So
thank you. Well, and I wanted to just say
I don't
something about what you were sharing there is that really the essence of the work that we're doing as entrepreneurs and the tools that you'll learn in the book is really tapping into your own guidance and your own intuition and living from that place of intentionality so that you can truly harness your strength and power. And so admittedly, I guess I paved the way for it to be quite a journey by calling it the warrior's journey, but it has been such an interesting experience to watch it unfold in its own, gestation and birthing process, if you will, because admittedly, I wanted it to come out much sooner than it is. And, there was a lot of internal resistance around why things are taking so long and all the first inner frustrations. But then I realized, oh, this is interesting. Well, isn't this
yeah.
fun? We get to practice the tools that are inside the book about, being patient, but being persistent and living in a place of alignment and trust.
Yes, yes, yes. I talk a lot about being patient with the forming. Like we want things to go in a certain order, in a certain way, in a certain time. And that's why just being able to trust and being able to honor your own inner wisdom. And that's for me supporting entrepreneurs with astrology and giving them that guidance. I say your two best guidance systems are the cosmos and your own inner wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really allows you to tune in to both. So I love it. So the warrior's journey, ancient wisdom for the modern entrepreneur. So I mean, you mentioned a bit about your why for writing this book. But if you could distill it down, like what was I know it was partly your own journey, but what was it that you said, I really need to get this out into other entrepreneurs' hands, information?
It really has to do with the potential impact and depth of transformation of the tools inside the book because I've experienced them myself using the tool set of yoga, specifically the warrior poses, more specifically the ancient story behind them that not a lot of people know about. But if you've done yoga, you've probably done the warrior poses, but you probably didn't know the story that shows us why the shapes are the way they are, what it's actually helping you to activate, what it's helping you to lean into within yourself, and that's the journey. And so for me, it's been a tool set that's come through and been such an important part of my own growth and evolution as a human, but also as a business owner and for the impact that I get to make in the world. And so rewinding to that time when I was in that puddle, if you will, that's when I got the the whisper from my soul of, this isn't your path. There's more for you. You're a warrior. You'll find the way. And so I decided, because the way that I had been pushing up the hill with the boulder and, trying to do it in effort, the heck out of everything clearly wasn't working. I decided, oh, well, maybe I should follow the wisdom of my heart again, because it's never led me astray. And so dove into that story of the warrior poses, because that was the tool set of the warriors that I knew conceptually from the yoga practice, being a teacher. And so for me, it became such an incredible journey of not only deepening my awareness of the tool set and what yoga is actually helping us to do, because despite what you see on social media, yes, the poses are important for your flexibility and your balance and your muscles and your confidence and all of that. But really what it's doing is helping you to become more vibrantly and authentically yourself. That's what the practice is, and that's what this journey is. And so that's what it helped me to do. And in the process, and you'll learn this for yourself in the book, is it gives you an experience of that so that you have evidence. Because what our mind will do is dispute everything and find faults and problems and struggles. And that's, spoiler alert, is the mission that the warrior is on. And it's actually the one we're all on, is to go and become the champion of your mind and to win that battle against the most challenging of all opponents. So when you give yourself the experience of it by way of what you'll learn in the book and by way of the tools and the little mini practices and the breathing and the questions and so much in there, and it's literally only 92 pages, it's jam-packed with amazingness. And so it's a quick read, but it's very impactful. It became something that I knew is my calling to share with the world, because it's been so impactful for me. And so, it's come up a few times, like when it first was part of my journey. And then I downloaded this whole series that's called the Wake the Warrior Within experience, which takes you on that physical journey through the practice. And I had kind of left it behind for a while. And then March of 2020, when I found myself laying in the same spot, looking at the same tree that was like whipping around, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And that state that many of us found ourselves in, is when I heard a whisper again that said, you're a warrior. You know the way. And I thought, oh, I got goosebumps. And I thought, oh, maybe it's time for me to bring out the warrior series, because up until that point, Wake the Warrior Within had just been concept, in my head. And so that's when it birthed itself for the first time. And so because it was such an incredible tool set for people as a practice, and it still is, I thought, okay, well, how can I take this a little bit deeper for myself to really begin to integrate this at a deeper level? Because that's it, is a practice, right? And it's a journey. And so realized that, well, a way to do that is through a book. And so that was the inspiration.
Here we are. I love it. I have practiced yoga for a long time. And, it was so interesting I had gone into your other series pre-book, so I had a little bit of a taste of it, but to understand the story behind it was so cool and connected a lot of dots for me. But I think even if you're not someone who practices yoga, there's so much value in the story and in the lessons. Like, that's, I think, the gift. And I love what you said about, I talk a lot about, we have two minds, right? This one up here and this one, our heart mind and this mind. And this one is just a computer filled with data, and it's not very good at discerning things, but we're told we trust this over this. And, that's always been one of my missions as well, is to connect people to that inner wisdom. And your book does a beautiful job of giving us practices to do that, and simple, powerful practices, which is helpful.
Thank you.
Which is great. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's it, is that sometimes, we're looking for these big changes and, the up leveling and all of that. And so we're looking for these really fancy strategies to make that happen. And we forget that the most simple of tactics are literally like right underneath your nose, your breath, and that awareness and that connection to self, and coming back to the heart space and tapping into that wisdom, the warrior wisdom within, so that you can live from that place. And that's part of the reason that, I wanted to keep it a more concise book because of the people that I work with, other entrepreneurs. You have a million and one things going on. So I want you to get to the point of the matter so you can actually start to use the tools.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, you curate the information like I do. Like we're both like, here's all you need to know. Like do this because you're busy. You got other things to do. But
Right.
it's so important. It's this piece of the puzzle for an entrepreneur is critical. Without self-care, without tools to manage and navigate and tune in, it's like you say, you end up trying to push the boulder up the hill instead of being in that flow, which is so powerful. So tell us a little bit about what you've got going on with the launch. I know that the book is live on the 20th, a week from tomorrow. So what's happening before then? How can folks get connected with you and get a copy and get access to all the excitement?
Oh, I love it. Yes. And I know that you have a link to share for that. And so how it works is that right now, yay, thank you. Perfect. So as Sherry mentioned, the book will be live next Tuesday, June 20th. So if you want to get first access, be first in line, you can click on that link. And when you do, you'll get all the updates, but you actually get a whole lot of special bonuses because we're doing a VIP book club. So as we've been speaking to, many of us love to learn. Growth is probably one of your core values. I mean, you are an entrepreneur after all. And so, we get excited and we're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll get that book. I'll do this thing. I'll do this challenge. And then we kind of get off track. And so the book club is your built-in community, accountability, and way of really taking the tools, taking them off the page and into the body, if you will, and into your heart, so that you're actually seeing and feeling and experiencing the transformation that you'll get inside the book. And so when you hop on the list, you not only get first access to the book, but you get full access to the VIP book club. So we're doing deep dives in there. We'll be doing live yoga practices. It's an incredible global community with other warriors on a mission, because that's the other thing about this, is that it's actually a movement of people that care so much about how you feel that you're willing to make yourself a priority every day. Even if that's like standing tall and taking a couple deep breaths before you start your day, if that's what you have time for, right? As you mentioned earlier with the Aries node transition and all of that, is sometimes you're going to have more time and you'll be able to do one of the mini practices that are inside the book, or you'll do some breathing work or whatever. Sometimes you don't have time for that, and that's okay, right? But it's really about being intentional about how you show up for yourself so that you can go charging after your beautiful soul's mission and bring it to life. And that's what this is all about. So make sure to hop on that list so you get all of that goodness.
Yes. I will also drop the link in the comments because I know it's kind of a funky little bit.ly link there, but not intuitive, but we'll leave it up for a while as we wrap up our chat. But yes, it is, like I said before, having access to tools like these. And a lot of times one of the things I think is, I'm in that phase myself. And I think with a lot of the astrological shifts that are happening, we need something fresh and new. And I love it. Even if you've, done yoga for years, there's a different viewpoint, like the entrepreneurial lens that you're putting on this and the way you really apply it to business and to taking care of you, I think is phenomenal. So I highly encourage you to check it out. And I'm hopping into I'm in there. I got to get active.
You are in there.
I am in there. I'm in there. So join me in
VIP,
there.
baby.
I'm a VIP.
Yeah.
Megan. Yeah. So what would you say, Megan, is that if somebody were to take just one thing away from this book and the journey, what's that thing that you hope, like, that's on your heart of, like, if I can just get, people to know this? And you've mentioned a bunch of things, but is there anything that, like, really, when you just close your eyes and take a breath and say, this is your mission, right? This is your vision. What's that core thing for you that you want people to take away from, engaging in the book, engaging in the group?
I believe that everyone is given a soul's mission, And when you're given that mission, you're also given the tools to bring it to life, because the universe, God, source, nature is benevolent and wants you to thrive and succeed. And so the seeds of potential are within each of us. And it's really a matter of nurturing them so that they can blossom and grow and fruit, right? Which, as a business owner, is the impact and the income that we're moving towards. And so it really is that knowing that you have it within you. And you know, you've probably heard that, especially the community that you've curated here. We know that, but it really is one thing to know it, and it's another thing to live authentically from that place. And so really what the book and the book club and the practices are there to be a reminder of your true nature and your true potential. Because when you energize and embody, right? And that's what the practice is all about, and fully express those qualities, boom, that's where you're supercharging. And that's where you're really getting to live into that fullness and be that vibrantly, holistically successful version of yourself, which I call the purposeful powerhouse CEO, right? Which is way different than the worn out entrepreneur. But when you're living and showing up from that place intentionally, that's such a difference. And it really doesn't take much, thankfully. And you'll learn how to do that easily in the book. But that's really, I think that's what we're here to do. And to be as impactful as you can as an entrepreneur, that's really what you need to do, what you get to do.
The choice we get to make versus,
yes.
burning ourselves out and not being able to, I like you believe, we have our mission and our vision here, that what we want to create. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we're not connecting with those people. And that's something that I'm super passionate about. I want people out there doing their work in the world and having that success, which is where, for me, the astrological tools come in, having that data. But this is something that, like I said, you being able to thrive mentally, emotionally, physically, is none of the rest of it makes a dang bit of difference if you don't have that, if you're not healthy, if you're not happy, if you're dragging yourself around. And like you say, if you're in a puddle, and we've all been there, and there's going to be moments like that, but because that's just the truth. It is a ebb and a flow.
The roller coaster.
The roller coaster. I would, say, feel those emotions. And then when you're ready, you get to shift. And so tools like you have available here give folks that tool to be able to shift when they need to, and to build that muscle, of resilience. So important in entrepreneurship. So important. All right. Well, if you don't know what we're talking about, you just popped on. We are talking about Megan Nolan's new book, The Warrior's Journey, Ancient Wisdom for the Modern Entrepreneur. It will be live next Tuesday, but you get to get early access and first access and get on her list. She has all kinds of goodies for you. So I will, again, put that link down below. And Megan, thank you so much for sharing your magic with us. I am so grateful to you. And again, I'm telling you folks, easy but impactful, fun read. Grab it. It's the thing. Grab it.
Do it. Well, thank you so much. It's been super fun to chat with you and connect with your beautiful community. And I can't wait to connect with all of you too, because yes, as Sherry said, it's an impactful book, and it's a guidebook, and it's not your average self-help book. I'll tell you that. Okay. You're going to love
it. You are going to love it. All right, my friends. Well, make sure you grab that link below. And remember, as always, those stars above are there to guide you, as well as the wisdom within. And I will see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.